What's going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. We've got lots of deals in the market today, and we're going to go through every single one of them for you. We're going to talk about all of the seal prices and how you can scoop yourself up some real Christmas bargains. I'm going to go through everything that I would buy right now if I had the extra money to chuck into it. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity, and let's get into it. Okay, so we are another week closer to Christmas time and the end of the year. Now, it is normal at this kind of time to see a bit of a lull in the market, and obviously, where the market has been so insanely hot over the last year, it's normal for it to be cooling off a little bit now anyway. And then you add that to the fact that people have a little bit of doubt in the market because it's been going up so much and so strong for so long. But let's have a little look at the prices and see what's going on. I do think there are still so many deals to be had in the market, and I think overall, there's no rush to buy anything, is what I'm saying. There's deals to be had in the market. However, I think there will continue to be over the next couple of months. But let's have a look at the individual sets. So, Phantasmal Flames we are going to start off with. Phantasmal Flames, I find it interesting how other people are sort of commenting on Phantasmal Flames. There's a lot of people in the hobby that don't like this set. And I think they're a vocal minority. So although it may seem like a lot of people don't think this set is good as a long-term investment, everything that I've seen show that it's a fantastic set. It's a good set and people are enjoying opening it. And that's my point. It's not just a good set to invest into, it's the fact that lots of people are cracking it. It's still holding a decent price above retail as well. Let's have a look at the prices here. So last week it had gone to 272 on the averages. Last sale 270. So effectively there's no change over the last week on the prices on TCG Player, and that's actually super positive when you're trying to gauge the popularity of a new set when you're looking at its potential for long-term investment. The fact that it's not moved when it's already massively over retail shows that the demand is essentially meeting the supply for the people that are trying to sell it for that kind of price point. And with a kind of price point that's so much over retail, it really sort of really illustrates how strong the demand is for this set. I love this set. I've bought a lot of it for retail. I don't think that I could lose for retail, so I'm going to be hanging on to that. But I've also opened a lot as well, because when I was going around on launch day, a lot of stores were just selling loose packs. So they were breaking down product into loose packs so that they could limit purchase amounts so that everyone could get some. So I had a lot of loose packs. I don't really keep a lot of loose packs, so I just decided to open them. I really enjoyed opening them as well. It's coming up to Christmas time. I've decided this Christmas I'm going to buy myself some products to open. So I'm going to wrap myself some sealed products to open on Christmas Day. I'm going to do my own Christmas presents because no one I know is nice enough to give me Pokemon cards. They just think it's a silly kids game. So I will buy myself Pokemon cards to open, and I'm definitely going to include Phantasmal on there because I'm still chasing the SIR Charizard, and I just enjoy opening it as a set. So I'm undecided whether I'll give myself like a whole half booster box to open, which is 18 packs, or whether I'll just do like an ETB and then get some other sets. I'd quite like to open some 151 as well, so I might open or give myself a 151 bundle as well. We'll see. I haven't got a huge amount of money spare at the moment, so yeah. Prices pretty much the same, holding at 270 a box, which is actually still quite a bit more expensive than some of the Scarlet and Violet sets at the moment. Let's have a look at last sales on eBay US, $250 and $240 respectively for the last two sales in the US. And we'll have a quick look at UK prices. If you're new to the channel, I am UK based, so I do look at UK prices, but the primary focus is obviously on the American markets and dollar amounts, as it is the largest English card market in the world. And I think it leads the way with a lot of pricing, even for the international markets as well. So Last sold in the UK, 172 quid. Definitely coming down a decent amount there. You can scoop up half booster boxes for around about 90 quid as well if you can't afford the full thing. And then the ETBs aren't too expensive either. 60 quid. That's 10 quid over retail. If you're looking for a little Christmas gift for someone or a gift for yourself, that is not a bad buy, to be honest. You obviously get 9 packs for 60 quid. That's not too shabby. I briefly want to talk about the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. I always kind of like group it in my head as a Phantasmal Flames product, but it's not. Essentially, it is just a Mega Era UPC. It's funny when I call it a UPC as well, because people disagree with that and call it an SPC, a Super Premium Collection, which is usually... I mean, it's semantics. They're basically the same thing. But as far as I'm aware, an SPC is for just a specific set. Like you have the, what's an example of one? The Prismatic Evolution SPC, where it just has Prismo packs in it. But this is an ultra premium collection, i.e. it has multiple packs over the contents, so it's not necessarily associated to one set, it's associated to the era. I've said that this is such a sleeper product to buy because the pack selection is so good, and in time, once those packs get a couple of years old, the value really is there in this product, even if you're paying over retail for it. Like I said, I do think it's going to come down in price because I think they are going to heavily print this product like they did with the original Sword and Shield Charizard UPC. But then we know what happened with prices with that. It went way below retail because they printed it massively, and now it's over $400 a box because of the contents inside. It's got Evolving Skies, it's got Fusion Strike. That's the original UPC, not this one. This one, though, has your Phantasmal, it has Mega Evolution, it has Destined Rivals in it. Honestly, this product, keep an eye on it, and I will keep tracking it for you guys every now and again. Even at its price over retail now, I think that it's a good buy if you put it away for a couple of years. I've got friends that have been finding this out in the wild for retail still as well, so keep an eye on that. And prices are coming down on the secondary market, making it an even better deal. Let's have a look at prices on here. Last week, it was averaging on TCG Player at $191. Last sold $184. But if we start looking at eBay, look at this. $175 with free postage. $175. That is a good deal, guys, but I do expect it to get even cheaper over time, but I'm not going to miss the opportunity. Okay, if it was that kind of price, I'm just going to buy into it, and if it gets cheaper, I'm going to buy more of it. I think that this is a really good product. It's iconic, it displays well, and it's got some of the best sets as contents inside. In the UK, it's down now to 182 quid with another sale here, 175, 190. Someone scooped one on an auction here for 170. 170, buy it now. New listing tag. Someone knew that was a good deal and just scooped that up straight away. Really good opportunity to buy into this product. But I do think short term, it could come down a little bit more. Just be prepared. Keep an eye on it. It's a very good play in my opinion, even at this kind of price point. Mega Evolution. Let's move on to Mega Evolution base set then. Mega Evolution, again, holding at that 250, 260 range. Last week it was averaging 251. Last sale 257. So it's actually up, what, $6, which is about 3%. 2 to 3% is negligible. It's just ebbs and flows of the market. Buys and trades, there's always a bit of a percentage range. But yeah, holding at 250, it's holding its weight with some of these Scarlet and Violet sets that are getting harder to find now. And you certainly aren't finding Scarlet and Violet sets out in the wild. You may find some Mega Evolution out in the wild. Yeah, good set. I actually think it's an even stronger set than Phantasmal. And I think it's going to be a very rose-tinted set. Although it's performing very well now, both sets in the Mega era are. They're both holding $250 plus after release. I think that give this 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I think that this has the potential to be a very good set in terms of long-term investment. Last sold in the US, let's see, an import $250. There we go, US to US, $250. Buy it now. That's actually a Phantasmal. Those are actually Phantasmal boxes. Let me find a normal Mega Evolution. That's Phantasmal. There we go. 220 in the US. I think that that's a really good deal. That is obviously an auction. I would expect to pay a little bit more on a buy it now. And then look, here's the ETBs for $65. Again, people are sleeping on these ETBs. I mentioned that a little bit last week. Last sold in the UK, 193 quid, 187 quid. A little bit cheaper here in the UK, obviously, because we've got the non-enhanced version. Is a lot more common over here, and that's why you're seeing a different price point. I just saw this Ascended Heroes, 156 quid for a bundle, and then I realised it was for 4 of them. So yeah, fair enough. Okay, I thought that was for 1 on pre-sale. I was like, oh my gosh. Let's move on though. Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals again. Holding, not affected by the crash. I mean, yeah, it came down a little bit from this 450 range, but just been holding strong for nearly 2 months now at this $380, $400 range, which is kind of insane. I mean, I was always a big backer of Destined Rivals from day one. Even before release, I was telling people, just buy it for whatever amount it is on the secondary market. Just buy as much as you can. That was when it was like $180, $200. People told me I was mad. I caught a lot of hate for saying that. And these same people that told you not to buy Destined Rivals are the same people that are telling you not to buy Phantasmal Flames. I guarantee. In fact, there's more people telling you not to buy Phantasmal Flames. Destined Rivals is a great set, though. Again, just like I said with the mega sets, the fact that it can just hold such a superior price point over retail when the market is starting to cool off just shows how strong the set is. It is still the most expensive booster box in the Scarlet and Violet era. It overtook Paldea Evolved a couple of weeks ago, and now the gap is starting to get bigger. Paldea Evolved is having a bit of a bounce back in price. We will go into that later on in this episode as we go through all the sets. But Destined Rivals is holding as the most expensive Scarlet and Violet booster box. And that's how I see it being long term as well. I find it so funny when some of these big Pokemon investment YouTubers that have been doing this far longer than I have say that it's impossible for them to predict which the best set of Scarlet and Violet is going to be long term. There's my prediction. I've said it before the set even came out, before I even saw the set list. I was telling you, it's this. It's just a perfect storm of nice chase cards, but hype. It had the hype. It has the scarcity. There wasn't enough of it around while they were too busy focused on trying to print Prismatic into the ground and failing. Yeah, Destined is just doing... really good, holding a good price point. On the average prices, let's see, it was 384 last week. Yeah, 384 last week. Last sale, 407, 407, 407. So up a few percentage points and some pretty decent sales volume on Destined Rivals as well. Yeah, over $400. Quite clearly the most expensive box now. As I'm going through this, and I just talked about Prismatic, I realised that I didn't even load up Prismatic Evolution in my tab, so we'll do that in a second once we've looked at prices on eBay for Destined. Last sold in the US, $380. Like I said, $380 to $400 range. Last sold in the UK, new listing tag $302. People knew that was a good deal at $302. They knew their prices. That's why it's bought out so quickly on a buy it now. The sale before it even bought out instantly for nearly $320. So you get a little bit of a discount there. What, about a 7.5% discount on something that was bought out instantly earlier that day as well. Sales volume actually quite low in the UK, but that's purely just for the fact that there aren't that many on eBay for a decent price. People are trying to charge that premium and bump up the price. Right. Before I move on to Journey, let's load up Prismatic and we will have a look at it live. So you can see the process. We're going to have a look at Prismatic Evolution Elite Trainer boxes. I don't know why I didn't load it up, but you've got to remember when I'm putting together all these tabs, I'm just like trying to remember all of the sets. Let's have a look then. So this is me looking at it live. Looks like it's kind of holding around about that $130 range. I've said for the last few weeks that anything around $130 $140, $150 even is a good bargain once you zoom out and look at where this set's going to go within the next couple of years. I think it's easily going to push up over $300 and start clipping on the coattails of 151, which is up around that $400 range even now, let alone where that's going to be in a couple of years. Let's have a look at prices then. So 127 last week, 130 now, so kind of flat around about that 130 range. There is a lot of it on the secondary market. Let's then move on to Journey Together. Journey Together has had a bit of a fall from grace over the last few weeks, but I feel like it's finding its floor now. And you'll find that with a few of the sets that I'm talking about this week, that I feel like their prices have come down to a decent amount now, where the cheaper some of these sets get, the more the demand is to buy them. And we're just looking for that equilibrium, that balance point where supply meets demand, and that's when prices will stop falling. And I feel like Journey Together's getting to that point now. Let's have a look at average prices then. Last week it was 234. This week 230, so it is technically down like 2%, but like I said, 2-3% is just normal ebbs and flows. I'd say that it's pretty much at its floor at around 230. I've been very vocal on this channel that these sales, when you get stuff where market is about 230, you're always going to get people that are looking for a quick sale or trying to dump that will sell then 10-20% below market, and it will just be an odd sale. That's where there's massive opportunities to be had. We've been saying this over the last couple of weeks. Keep an eye on eBay if you've got the kind of capital and you want to move into these sort of less desirable sets. And they're still good sets. They're just not the top sets like your Destined Rivals, your Prismatic, your 151, your Evolving Skies, Fusion, that kind of thing. Journey Together is a decent set. It's above average. But like I said, if market's like 230, which I think is quite a good deal on Journey, you will get the odd couple of people that will be dumping that sort of 220 and below. And that's a really good opportunity to move in. And that's what you see here. Last sold on eBay from yesterday, $215 for a minty one, enhanced box, nice and sealed. It looks very minty, that one in the photo. I haven't looked into it properly, but just from that first photo, it does look pretty minty. 215 is mad cheap for Journey Together. I think that market should be around 230, 240. So great opportunity to move in. Like I said, you will get people dumping from below that. Look at that, no feedback as well. No feedback, no percentage. Clearly just a dump. Didn't have the beans to be holding that long term, or just needed the money and thought that it was a get rich quick scheme. Who knows? Like I say, with sealed product, I think that people can have their opinion really warped over the kind of gains that you can make in this hobby in such a short amount of time, because we've had such a successful last year with sealed product. The usual thing is to not see any significant gains for at least 2-3 years after you bought the sealed product. And even then, you're looking at stuff anywhere between a 10% gain to right up to 100% plus gains. But the problem is, where the market has been so hot and been moving so fast for the last year, you've had a lot of new people to sealed that have bought in probably around about the time when Journey came out. This person might have bought this for retail and thought it would be a lot more expensive than it is now. And now they're just dumping it for that sort of 215 range, which is below market when market is already looking pretty cheap. Last sold in the UK, 182 quid for non-enhanced. Another one here for 180 with a little bit of postage. Not a bad price to be moving into Journey Together. That 215 though in the US, that makes it, I think, the cheapest Scarlet and Violet booster box in the era right now. I know it's just one sale, but that could have been you that got that sale. Like I said, I've been saying for the last 2-3 weeks, keep an eye on the sets that have a little bit of fear and uncertainty in, like Journey Together, like Surgeon Sparks. You're going to get crazy deals. Even if it's just the odd one box. Let's move on then to Surgeon. Surgeon, I feel like it's starting to find its floor. It's been bouncing up the last sort of 2 weeks. It's been recovering. It was 231 on the averages last week. Now it's back up to 250. Multiple sales at 250 yesterday as well. Quite a lot of sales data there. In that 250 range, almost a whole page actually at 250. Yes, a whole page at 250, with one sale right up there at 265. Lots of sales data. All of those sales are in within the last 2 days. Some of these are multiples as well. That one's a case, going for 250 each. I've been saying it. I've been saying it last couple of weeks. Surgeon is way too cheap for what it is at the moment, and now we're starting to see it bounce back in price. I think I pretty much called the floor 2 weeks ago at that 220 range. I said it was too cheap and it will bounce back up. I didn't really expect it to bounce back up this quickly, but I do think that was the floor at 220, unless they print loads more into the ground, obviously. That will temporarily bring the price down, but I always say with sealed product, be prepared to hold it for at least 2 years, because that will just iron out any of these sort of mass printings or anything like that. And worst case scenario, if you buy in today for, what is it, 250, and they mass print it next week, it might drop to, I don't know, 230, 200. Within 2 years, I'm very confident it'd be back up to over 250. So you'll be in the black again. I don't know why that was weird for me to think of. I was going to say in the red, but you won't be in the red. You'll be in the black, and potentially in a nice bit of profit as well. Last sold on eBay US. Okay, I take that back about Jenny. This is the cheapest box at the moment. Look at this, guys. 209. Bear in mind, multiple sales. Cases selling on TCG this week for 250. Someone comes in and dumps at 209. So many good deals to be had in the market. Market should be 240, 250. If you can scoop in at 210 and you know your prices, if you're watching every week, if you subscribe down below, you know 209 is a crazy deal for Surgeon, and you can just buy in quickly before anyone else. There's no new listing tag, so this sat for a while on a buy it now for 209. That could have been you that scooped that, if you knew what was going on. Let's then have a look at the UK 240. We're paying more just because there's less available here in the UK. We don't have the vending machine stock that the US has. That's really what's been bringing down the price of Surgeon Sparks, is the fact that people are still finding it out in the wild in booster boxes in the US. Let's then have a look at 151 Elite Trainer boxes. 151 has been coming down in price the last couple of weeks as the market's been cooling, and I've been saying that this is crazy. It should be selling for 400. It is a $400 box all day long, and if you can pick it up for cheaper than that, then you're doing well. We're getting discount on one of the best products in the Scarlet and Violet era that I don't think they're going to make any more of. Last week it was averaging 380. This week we're seeing sales right down there at 354. Significant price reduction, 7-8%, something like that, off of what it was last week. Let's have a look at eBay. eBay 360, which is cheap for what was regularly selling for over $400 recently. I don't think they're going to make any more of it. Look at this on an auction, 315. That's such a good deal, whoever scooped that one up. Here's another one, 350. Auction 325. Lots of sales data. People getting active on these 151 boxes. I'm telling you, if you could scoop one of these for under $400, which you probably can quite comfortably do for the next month or so, maybe more, you won't regret that. I think that this box is going to be worth a lot of money in the near future. Last sold in the UK, 312 quid. Not much to say there, really. 307. Like I said, down off of the all-time highs. Get yourself a little Christmas bargain there on 151. Twilight Masquerade. There's some mad stuff going on with Twilight Masquerade right now. I do feel like it's found its bottom as well, like it did with Journey Together and Surgeon. But it is just looking super cheap right now. It's looking like a little snack. 265 last week. Now it's bouncing back up to 290. So it's jumped back up another $25, which is nearly 10%. Yeah, so bouncing back up. But look at this. Regularly selling on TCG for 290. Multiple sales at 290. Look at eBay though. I'm telling you, you get the dumps. 220. Are you joking me? 220 for a sealed box of Twilight Masquerade is nuts. Whoever scooped that up, bravo. That is one of the best deals that I've seen in like the last 6 months. 220 for a Twilight Masquerade box is crazy. 220 puts it as one of the cheapest boxes in the Scarlet and Violet era. The only thing it's beaten by is Journey, that there was one 220-ish, and then Surging had one at like 222. That's nuts. Twilight should not be there. It's just one sale, but it was a buy it now. There's no new list and tag. Again, someone with no feedback. It's clearly a dump, and it's just one product, but crazy bargain there to get 220. I think that if you can see Twilight for anywhere under 250, you're doing well. Like I said, TCG Player, they're regularly back up selling over 290. So there you go. Mad deals to be had in the Christmas market. They talk about buying the dip. This is it. This is your opportunity. In full transparency, I am buying nothing at the moment to keep sealed. That's correct. Over this week and next week, and probably right up to Christmas now, I'm buying nothing to keep sealed. And that's not because there's not good plays to be had in the market. It's because of the financial situation I'm in right now. I am buying product to open for Christmas. I'm buying family Christmas presents, and I'm also taking care of my health and having some private healthcare procedures paid for as well. And the reason why I'm being transparent about all of this is because I want to let you know that if I had the money, I would be buying this. It's not that I don't have faith in sealed. What I'm trying to highlight to you guys is there's no rush to buy right now. If you have the capital and you want to buy stuff now, great. There's fantastic plays to be had. Some of the best plays that we've seen for the last few months. However, there's always going to be plays. There's going to be plays in January. There's going to be plays in February. There's going to be plays in March. I'm going to bring you the plays each and every week. It doesn't matter. You don't have to FOMO in and be buying stuff every single week. It is very easy to get stuck in a cycle where you feel like you just need to buy because this is cheap, that's cheap, make more money. Oh, I should have bought more of it. Everyone feels that way. Even I feel that way after over 10 years of doing this now. Okay, you will always regret not buying more, but there are always plays to be had. Okay, this YouTube channel where I've been pointing out plays to you has been giving you a video every Saturday for over 2 years now, and we've got tabs and tabs of plays each and every week. What does that tell you? There's no rush to buy. Last sold in the UK, 200 quid. New list and tag, I'm not surprised. 200 quid is cheap for a nice sealed Twilight Masquerade. You can tell that because the sale before it on the same day went for 10% more for 220. And even at 220, that's mad cheap for Twilight in the UK. So whoever scooped that for 200 as well, I hope that was one of you guys that's watching, one of my UK brothers. Even the bundles are looking like a snack. Look at this, 30 quid for a bundle of Twilight. Yeah, you got to pay, what, 3 quid postage. But guys, oh no, it's a build and battle. I take that back. It looked like a bundle to me. If that was a bundle, 6 packs for 30 quid, I would have said that's insane because retail's 25. Okay, it's a build and battle. I take that back. Still a good price though. You get 2 packs in there. No, you get 4 packs in a bundle. So what's that? 7 quid a pack plus a promo card. That's not bad. I like build and battles. More of a collector piece than anything, but they do go up in value because they got packs in them. Paldea Evolved. So, Paldea Evolved fell off of its throne as the king of Scarlet and Violet. As I kind of predicted it would. I thought that Destined Rivals would overtake it. I didn't think it would play out as quickly as this. I didn't think Destined Rivals would pull ahead this early into its print cycle, as it is still a relatively new set, Destined Rival, in the grand scheme of things compared to Paldea Evolved, which is nearly out of print. It's essentially out of print. I think it officially rotates out of print in spring 2026, which is only a couple of months away. I think that people will FOMO into it at that point and will really boost its price back up, and at that point it may start overtaking Destined again, and they might have a little bit of a race going forward. I think Destined in the long haul, once you talk about years from now, will pull ahead significantly more than Paldea Evolved, but we'll just have to wait and see. Both of them are clearly the top two sets. It doesn't really matter which one pulls ahead as the most. If you hold either of them, I think you're going to do well over the years. Paldea Evolved then, looks like it's found its floor a little bit. I don't think it should have fallen as far as it did. And now we're seeing a bit of a bounce back in price. Last week it was averaging 267. Last sales now 375. So it's up, what, $8, which is 2.5%, 3%, something like that. About 2.5%. I feel like it's at its floor though. I don't think Paldea is going to get any cheaper than this, but I may be wrong. It may dip a little bit further. Even if it does, though, it's not going to dip much. And I think we all know that in the long term, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, this is going to be worth significantly more than it is now. That's why I say you've got to hold your product for a little bit longer. Ideally, multiple years, so that you just iron out any potential dip that might happen over the next couple of months. If you're just looking for a short-term quick flip, I don't think this is the product to do it on, personally. I think that if you're buying something like Paldea or Destined, you should be prepared to be putting that away for multiple years, and that's when you'll see the real growth on those products, even though they're doing very well now anyway. Last sold in the US, $360, so $360, and I think the last Destined Rivals in the US was, let's have a look actually, $380. So Destined now $20 ahead of Paldea Evolved for last sold on eBay. Last sold in the UK, 307 quid. 300 quid on a buy it now, new listing tag. Someone scooped a deal there. 300 quid is mighty cheap for Paldea Evolved right now. Let's move on though. Paradox Rift. I'm going to say something that a lot of you probably don't think that I'm going to say. Paradox Rift is such a meme set on this channel because so many of my viewers love it, and I'm always saying that you shouldn't buy it. That's now finished. I feel like Paradox Rift now is the cheapest it'll be. I think Paradox Rift has found the floor. Now is the time, okay? I'm officially saying it. Now is the time. If you want to buy Paradox Rift, now you buy Paradox Rift, okay? Paradox Rift is one of those sets that I've actually called perfectly, and I think I'm probably the only person on YouTube that did this. When it shot up to this $330 range, I said it wasn't maintainable. I said when it was here at $250, I said that at that time in September when it was like $250, $245, it was one of the cheapest boxes in the era, and I told people don't buy it. And people couldn't understand. They were like, but it's the cheapest box in Scarlet and Violet era. It's great. It's going to go out of print, blah, blah, blah. I just had a feeling that it was going to go cheaper. Then it shot up to $325, and everyone gave me so much hate and said that I was so wrong for telling them not to buy it at $250. And I doubled down. I'm like, nah, guys, like, I know the data. It shouldn't be $320. It's going back to retail, I'm telling you. Or not even retail. It's going down in price. It does not deserve to be $325 right now. And then we saw the massive retracement on it, the massive fall on it down to this 230 range. And I called it perfectly. I even surprised myself how well I called it, because I went with my gut feeling. I've been doing this a long time. I cut out the noise, and that's one of the best things you can do as a Pokemon investor, is cut out all the noise of all the other people. There are so many vocal people with massive followings on YouTube that think that they can predict prices properly, and they're almost always wrong. I'm not trying to be egotistical here. Most of my calls come true. Even when I do insane calls like that, when I called it at 320, I said no. It's not right, guys. I don't care what price it is in the market right now. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't deserve to be this price. It shot up way too quickly as well. And And I think you'll be surprised what's happening with the prices here. So 235 last week on the averages, 238 now. And that's a case going for 238. One sale there, 243, 240, 243. I think it's at its floor now at around about that 240 range. And look, last sale US, 220. So then you get a dump, which is nearly 10%, 8 to 10% below market. 220 is a good buy for Paradox. Now, the reason why I'm saying buy into it now is not just for the US people. Okay, for the US people, that's an okay deal. Okay, I don't think it will get much cheaper. It has got a little bit of room to come down, but what I'm really talking about is my UK people. It's time to buy Paradox Rift. Last sold £144. Buy it now. No new listing tag, so it just sat there for more than 24 hours. 144. Okay? Retail Paradox Rift. Free postage. Time to buy. At that price point, you don't lose. Say what I will about Paradox Rift. Retail priced Scarlet and Violet box goes out of print spring 2026, couple of months time. Retail. Say what you like about the set, that's a good deal. Temporal Forces and Paradox Rift were always very similar here because they were both available for retail for so long in the US and in the UK. They are in different print blocks. Temporal is a little bit later. I've always preferred Temporal as a set, not just from a set perspective, but also just as a long-term thing. I think it's overvalued right now, and I've been saying that for a few weeks. Just like how I felt that Paradox Rift is overvalued, I like Temporal as well, but I do think it's overvalued right now. I don't think you should be moving into Temporal if you're in the US right now. I think you missed that opportunity. It was available for retail for a very long time. And I do see it having room to fall. $282 last week. This week, $274. So about average, within a couple of percentage of where it was last week, holding at an all-time high. Last sold in the US, $240. That's an okay deal. $280, $290 is too much for it right now. I think that market for Temporal should be around about that $240 range. I think $240 is fair because $240 a few months ago was the floor of Scarlet and Violet. So I think that's a fair price for Temporal. Paradox. Journey should be there or like a little bit more, and then Surgeon should be a little bit more than that, in my opinion. That's my gut feeling on where prices should be right now. I think 240 is a good deal on Temporal. In the UK, last sold, 172 on a buy it now. All in with postage, you're looking at what? 177? Not that much over retail. That's a pretty good buy, in my opinion, for what I think is quite a good set. An average set, but I like the arts in it. Paldea and Fates. Paldea and Fates fell over the last couple of months, as a lot of sets did, and I think it's found its floor now. I'm surprised it fell as far as it did, and now it's seeing a bit of a bounce back up in price. Last week, it was pretty much at its floor. It was averaging 230. This week, 240. So it's up about 4%. You notice how I've had my coffee this morning and I can do these percentages in my head right now. Should we actually calculate that out, see how close I am? What did I say? 4%. So it was 230 to 239.85, 240. So 10 by 230. What did I say? 4%, 4.3%. I was pretty close. It's close enough. If you round down, it's 4%. So there you go. Last sold in the US, 203 quid on an auction. That looks pretty cheap to me. That is a good deal, whoever scooped that one up. And the PCETB going for $400. Here in the UK, it's 203 quid. I don't think these are going to get any cheaper. If they do print more of these, I don't think it will be many, and I don't think it's going to be significant to the price point. Yeah, I think that 203 is a really good deal for it. And if you don't have this in your collection already, I think that this is a nice collection piece as well. I'm very proud to have this in my collection. Love the set, love the Bubble Mew, love the Charizard in that set as well. I think it will perform very well in the long term. Let's then talk about Stellar Crown very briefly. The chart's been broken, but Stellar Crown is essentially flat right now, but still hovering. More expensive than Paradox, Journey, Surging. So we'll keep an eye on it. I think it's a bit of a creeper set. I don't think many people will put it away. It does have room to fall down to that 240 kind of range. But I think in the long term, it will do fine just for its scarcity. I think that not many people are going to be selling these and will be putting these away. There'll always be them for sale on eBay, but it's whether they will be for sale for market price or silly price. You need to remember that when you have sets that aren't put away as much, stuff like your Rebel Clash, that kind of thing, Guardians Rising, Crimson Invasion, they just become more rare. They're not the best sets of their era, but they charge a premium because they're harder to get. And there's always going to be a market. There's always going to be people that want to buy sets, either to collect all of them or to master set them, or for whatever reason. There's always going to be buyers. Let's then have a look at prices. Because the chart's broken, we'll just have a look at what they were selling for last week. The 19th is the closest, so 260 last week. Now it's going for 258, 259. So within $1 of where it was last week, just holding at that slightly above average price range for Scarlet and Violet. But keep an eye on Stellar Crown over the next couple of years. I think it will do well. Obsidian Flames. Obsidian Flames has been on sale last couple of months. It's fallen down in price quite a bit, and I think it was pretty much at the bottom, as low as it will go. I think it's a great opportunity to buy in now for a discount on Obsidian. I'm a big fan of Obsidian Flames, and again, it's not the most popular set. I think that people will be shocked by Obsidian Flames. I think people were shocked when it went up to this $330, $340 range. A lot of people in the market don't think that it should go up to that price point. I think that it should. I like Obsidian Flames. I own a lot of it. I find it funny when people say I'm shilling a set or trying to increase my own bags. Like, you think I have influence on the market? That's crazy. We're literally like broadcasting to a couple of thousand people in a market of millions of consumers. Like, we have zero influence on the market. Maybe if someone big, like the big boys like Rev or someone, made a video and said a card was good or said a set was good, you may see a little blip on the market, but I have zero influence. So anyone who gives me those comments saying I'm just trying to increase my own bags is a nutter. And like, I'm not selling it, so what does it matter? Do you know what I mean? Maybe if I had it up for sale right now on eBay and I was like, oh, guys, you should buy this week. In fact, let me link you to buy this one. Then you can say that comment. But I'm not selling my Obsidian Flames, and I won't be selling it. My Obsidian Flames will probably sit with me, realistically, probably for another 5 to 8 years. My Obsidian, and in that kind of time horizon, when you're talking those long time horizons, I do think it will push up over £1,000 a box, or like what, $1,300, $1,400 or something like that. But it will take years for it to get to that point, in my opinion. But it doesn't take up much space, and I love having it in my collection. Last sold in the US, $284. That's so cheap compared to its all-time high. Definitely a good deal in my opinion. But you've got to have faith in the set to be able to pay that kind of price, to be able to pay $284. You've got to have faith in Obsidian Flames, because if you don't, you'll sell that within a year or two when it doesn't move much. Obsidian Flames is a creeper set. It will gain in price slower than other sets over a 5-10 year period. I guarantee. You'll see stuff like Paldea Evolved and Destined Rivals really accelerate at a faster rate than that set, in my opinion. Right, let's move on then. Last sold in the UK, 209 quid on an auction, 210 on a buy it now with a little bit of postage. That's a really good deal. You can't buy much for 210 here in the UK. So to get Obsidian Flames, which is nearly out of print, it's what, SVO3? So should be out of print within 4 months, and that's going to come around quick. And I think people will FOMO into it. But it's a long-term investment, Obsidian. Let's move on then to Sword and Shield. Let's have a look at the King of the Jungle to start off with, Evolving Skies. We won't even worry about this chart. This chart's going crazy. Let's just have a look at last sales. We have had quite a bit of sales activity over the last week, actually. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sales over the last week on TCG Player. Last week it was around about that 2100 range, and now we're seeing multiple sales of 2300. 2 sales of 2300 with both yesterday on TCG Player. So nice to see it recovering a little bit. Last sold on eBay, 2400. 2200. Let's find another one. Don't know what's going on with that one. Yeah, 22, 23, 2400, something like that. I think it's just starting to stabilize at about that price now. So yeah, 2400 on a buy it now, which is probably a little bit over market, and then 2200 on an auction. I think that market should sit somewhere between that. You should expect to pay somewhere around 2300. Look at the bigger picture with Evolving Skies. It's one of the best, most recognizable sets of the last sort of 10 years. I think that long term it's destined to go into the multi-$1,000 of boxes. It'll push over $5,000 and probably onwards up to that $10,000 range. Given enough time, it will take multiple years, many years, but it's a long-term hold that I think that it's stabilizing around that $2,300, $2,400 mark. How long will it stay there for? It's hard to tell. It could easily sit at a whole year at around that price point, going up, down, up, down, up, down, at around about that $2,500 range, or we could see another big run on it, and it could just shoot up to $3,000, $4,000 over the next year. It's hard to tell. I mean, I think the whole market understands it's going to go over $5,000 a box, but it's just how long is it going to take to get there? It could take 6 months. It could take 2 years, 3 years, realistically, to get up to that range. But I wouldn't be worried about it. It's still within striking distance of its all-time high, and we're seeing regular sales for over $2,000, which is very healthy for it. Nothing to worry about at all. Last sold in the UK, 1770 on a auction, with the ETBs now going for that 350 range. Very juicy. Let's then have a look at Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike is looking more and more like a snack every single week. It's just coming down in price and you're getting crazy deals on it. In my opinion, it's $1,000 box all day long. I say it every single week. It will go back to that range. Again, might be a couple of months for it to get there, might be 6 to 8 months for it to get there, but I'm very confident that it will get up to that $1,000 range again. Last week it was averaging $946. Last sales $875. If we look at actual sales from last week, we were at $880, and now we're at $875. So we're actually just flat. The chart looks like it's plummeting, but we're within $5 of what it sold for last week on TCG Player. The charts just show averages, so it's just the average coming down from this $1,000 range. That's all it is. Last sold in the US, though, look at this on an auction, $800 on the nose. That is mad cheap for it. I think that market should be $900, but in my opinion, it's $1,000 box. So it should be at $1,000, but I think realistically, market, i.e. sales right now, should be going for $900. So anything sort of $880, $870 is a good deal, and the fact that someone scooped one for $800 is absolutely bonkers. Well done to you. Last sold in the UK, just a hair under 600 quid, and then there's another one here for 620. These were around about 640, 660 a few weeks ago, but it's not that much of a move when you look at the percentage change. I mean, a 10% move is 60 quid. So, you know, we're within 40 quid. So we're sort of, what, maybe like 8%, 8 to 10% off of all-time highs here in the UK for Fusion Strike. But the market's cooling. There's just, attention has just been moved on to other things at the moment. It will come back. Okay. Fusion, I think, will push up over $2,000 a box. There's no doubt in my mind that it will. Might take a year, might take 3 years. That's the difficult thing to gauge, how long it will take. Obviously, as time goes on and we start to see more data, and as it's moving, I can adjust those timescales and lock it in a bit more. But talking about, you know, more than a double in price with the way the market is right now, very hard to predict how long that will take. I don't think it will take 3 years. I'm pretty confident it will happen within 3 years. It will be a $2,000 box. Most likely, it's probably going to be 12 to 18 months for it to push up to that $2,000 range. But that is a very sort of rough estimate. It's very hard to predict that at the moment. But I think everyone's in agreement that it will get to that range. It will just take time. Lost Origin. Well, Lost Origin is looking mighty cheap right now. Falling on the average price charts again. $700 last week. This week it's going for $634, $620. Guys, this is, if you've got the capital and you've got the confidence in that Giratina, and you know Sword and Shield, you know this is a top 3 set. And it doesn't deserve to be as cheap as this. This is one of the best opportunities to buy into Lost Origin that I've seen in a long time. If I had the spare money right now, I would be buying a lot more Lost Origin right now. Last sold in the US, $625. That's nuts. That should be an $800 box right now. Not in 6 months' time. Right now, that should be an $800 box. That is a huge opportunity to buy into, both in the US and the UK. Because look at this. In the UK, it's 300 quid. Wow. 315 delivered to your door. That is absolutely crazy price. New listing tag. Someone knew. Someone knew that was a good deal and just snapped that up straight away. That is a minty box by the looks as well, before inspecting it further. Yeah. It says it was lifted from a sealed case. So that is minty, case fresh into acrylic. That is such a good deal for 312 quid. If I had a spare 300 quid right now to dump into sealed product, I would definitely buy that if I saw that. Congratulations, whoever picked that up. That is a fantastic buy right there. Astral Radiance, kind of chilling. It's all-time high. If we zoom out a bit, look, it's right up there at its all-time high. Let's zoom back in again. Last week it was averaging 408, selling now for 400, so it's down about 2% over last week, but normal ebbs and flows, I think. Basically just chilling at an all-time high. I expect activity to sort of slow down on Astral Radiance. I don't expect to see any massive moves to the upside or the downside. I think it will stabilize at around about $400 and then have a slow climb over the next few months to start pushing up $500. I don't think it will get there quickly. Could take 6 months to 12 months for it to start pushing up to that $500 range. I do think it will get there. It's just going to take a little bit of time, but it's in a good spot. Like I said, it's chilling right at its all-time high, and I think it's just going to see some steady growth. Once you zoom out, you're going to see some odd 2-3% gains here and there over the next few months on Astral Radiance. Not a bad buy though. Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars, I think, has found its floor. We said when it was up at this range, and this 540 range, and it started falling, that it should be supported at a $500 range. We were very surprised. Yeah, look, here it is. You can actually see it on the chart. This flat line here, let me put my mouse here on the chart, is where it was at $500. That is the support point. It should have stayed there, but we actually saw a dip further, which really surprised me. It dipped down to this as low as 416 on the averages. We said it was crazy bargains right there. Now we're starting to see it rebound back up. It's actually a bigger rebound than it looks because it's an average price chart. If we have a look at last week, it was averaging 416. and now we're seeing it back up at 500. And not only are we seeing it back up at 500, we're seeing lots of sales in that $500 range, and that's where I expect Brilliant Stars to be at a minimum. Its floor should be $500. I think if you can scoop anything below $500 now for Brilliant Stars, I think that that's a very good deal, and you'll do well with it. Last sold on eBay US 470, a little bit below where I thought it should be. So yeah, nearly 8% below where I think it should be at that $500 range, because it's already proven. It's already tested $500 and pushed way up over it, right up into the 550 range, and that's on averages. So if it's averaging 550 back then, we're seeing multiple sales up at like 560, 570, that kind of thing, starting to push for $600. I do think it will get back there fairly soon. Probably within the next 6 months, I think it'll be back up at these all-time highs, maybe even less time. 6 months is conservative. Like I said, last sold 470 in the US. Last sold in the UK 364. I think it's found its floor. It won't get any cheaper than that now. Silver Tempest, I think, is at its floor right now as well. I don't think it will get much cheaper. 441 last week, 440 this week, so within $1, 0.25% of its price last week. I think it's just stabilizing and finding its floor. Great opportunity to buy in, but basically no move on it. Crown Zenith, again, basically no move. It's at that $200 price point, and the chart's broken, so we'll look at last sales. Let's have a look. Last week it was at $199.99, $200 on the nose. Now it's at $199, so it's within $1 of last week. Just holding firm at 200. I think that is a good support point for it, and I think anything sub $400 for Crown Zenith, sub $200 for Crown Zenith is a very good buy, and I think it's going to do what Crown Zenith has been doing for the last year and a half, 2 years, where it just slowly creeps up in price. I've said it a lot on this channel in the past, that Crown Zenith is probably one of the safest places to put your money if you want slow and steady gains over time. It's definitely a set that you just put away and put in a cupboard for a couple of years plus, and come back to it and be pleasantly surprised, because the gains are not going to be quick. It's not going to have those volatile price movements to the upside or to the downside, which is why it's one of the safest, slower, steady compounding earners. I really like Crown Zenith. I think it's one of the safest places to put your money, especially if you're new to this, and you just want something to put away for multiple years. Right, Chilling Reign. Chilling Reign has come down quite a lot in price over the last few weeks. We don't talk about it every week. Last week it was averaging 509. This week it's at 450, but let's see where it actually sold for, because as with everything else, it's just averages falling. There we go. Last week it sold for 450. This week it sells for 450. Essentially no change on Chilling Reign. Let's finish off then by talking about something a little bit different, as we like to do, to just sort of clear the air at the end of the episode, because that is a lot of heavy data. I want to talk today about Darkness Ablaze. I always bring it up every few months. It was the original meme set on the channel because I hold a lot of it. I bought a lot of Darkness Ablaze because for over a year after its release, it was selling for below retail on eBay, and it just was kind of the joke set of Sword and Shield when I don't think it really deserved to be. I've always backed Darkness Ablaze as a good set, but at the end of these episodes, what I like to do is I like to just have a look at what's been selling on eBay. I just go onto eBay US, I type in Pokemon, I filter to sold, and I filter to new, and that'll show you all of the sealed product that's been selling over the last day or so. And it's a really good activity to get into the habit of doing, because what it does is it shows you sets that aren't on the forefront of your mind. I haven't even thought about Darkness Ablaze, even though it's in the back somewhere, in a cupboard somewhere. I haven't thought about it. It hasn't even crossed my mind in like over a month, Darkness Ablaze. So to see it selling kind of made me investigate it a little bit more. And I wanted to point out a little play to you because that's what this channel is all about. We point out plays, whether you like Darkness Ablaze or whether you don't. There's a massive opportunity to be made on it right now. And I'm always going to point out the plays to you. Okay, so last sold 260. 260 is kind of mad for Darkness Ablaze when you think about it, because when Darkness Ablaze came out, like I said, for over a year it was below retail. So you could scoop it up for like $170 a year after its release, easily. There were loads of them. And not many people did scoop them up. Now, you look at the price point a couple of years later, and it's at 260, and you think, okay, so it's had a decent growth. You know, it's up nearly $100 in a couple of years. That's really good. But what you need to understand is how much the market has changed. We've got sets coming out now that are coming out on release at 250. You've got Mega Evolution at 250. You've got Phantasmal at 250. So to get Darkness Ablaze that's well out of print for only $10 more, I think is quite an interesting play, especially when we start looking at TCG Player. So 260 last sold on eBay. What's the chart look like on TCG Player? It's up 119% over the last year. So they're not making any more of it. Not many people put it away. And it's going up over 100% a year. What's TCG Player saying then? Prices. Last sold, 340, 350, 360. These are all within the last 2 days. 350, 350, 330. Let's have a look back at the eBay. 260 for a nice minty sealed box. It's a play, guys. And it's a play because people are dumping it and there aren't the eyes on it. TCG is already selling for nearly $100 more than what it's going for on eBay. I'm always going to point out those plays to you, especially the plays where people aren't really looking at it. Look at this. Last sold the day before. 401. The same day. $300. Prices are all over the place on it. You can charge what you want. Look, $300, $401, $260. $260 is a mad bargain for something that's well out of print. Whether you like Darkness Ablaze or not, that is a very good play, whoever scooped that one up. Anyway, just thought I'd point that out to you. We always like to point out the plays on the channel for you. The last tab is the prismatic tab that I loaded up. But that concludes today's episode. Please do hit the like button. The like button really does help me out. It helps push my content out there further. It's free for you to do. If you're watching on a TV, which I know some of you are, just pull out your phone and like the video, please. Yeah, make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. There is the Join Club as well if you want to support the channel. All of my content is completely free, but if you do want to support it financially, there's 2 different tiers of membership down below. Just click the Join button. If you can't find it for whatever reason, just go onto my channel. There'll be a Join button there. Sometimes you've got to log on via a iPad or a computer to be able to see the button. It doesn't always show on mobile. I won't push that service too much. It is just there if you want it. I will connect to you on Instagram as well on the higher tier and answer any of your questions, day and night, unlimited questions. That works very well for people who are looking at dropping a bag over the next year or so. I can help point you in the right direction and hopefully make you more money than you would have without my advice. So the service pays for itself. Anyway, please do hit that like button. Have yourselves a wonderful day and good luck out there getting product. All right, peace.